Guess who's back?
Good morning, good afternoon, good
Guess who's
evening.
back?
No matter where you are in the world, welcome. Today we are going to talk about something very important, something that almost every English learner feels, but very few people know how to explain. Today's topic is why English conversations feel random. If you have ever listened to English speakers and thought, why are they jumping from one idea to another? Why does this conversation feel messy? Why do I understand some words but not the meaning? You are not alone. And no, you are not bad at English. English conversations feel random because English is not linear. Let me explain that slowly. In many languages, conversations follow a clear order. One idea, then another idea, then a conclusion. But in English, especially spoken English, conversations move differently. English conversations are context-driven, not structure-driven. That means people speak based on feelings, reactions, habits, shared culture, not grammar rules. This is why English sounds chaotic. For example, imagine a simple conversation. Someone says, "So, yeah, anyway." That sentence alone sounds confusing. So means something is starting. Yeah means agreement. Anyway means changing the topic. Three different functions in one short sentence. To a learner, this feels random. To a native speaker, this feels normal. English speakers don't always finish ideas. They interrupt themselves. They change direction. They respond emotionally. That's why you hear sentences like, "Yeah, I was gonna," but never mind. Grammatically, this is messy. Communicatively, it is perfect. Because English conversations are not about perfect sentences. They are about connection. Another reason English feels random is small talk. Small talk is huge in English. People talk about the weather, coffee, traffic, weekends. Not because it is important, but because it creates comfort. Small talk is not information. Small talk is social glue. If you don't understand that, conversations feel pointless. You think, why are we talking about nothing? But in English culture, that nothing builds trust. Now let's talk about reaction words. English is full of reaction words. Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. Right. These words don't add information, they add emotion, and they appear everywhere. A native speaker might say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know." To a learner, this feels like noise, but that noise is actually meaning. It shows hesitation, agreement, politeness, uncertainty. Another big reason conversations feel random is ellipsis. Ellipsis means words are missing but understood. For example, coming instead of are you coming? Or got it instead of I understand what you said. English speakers cut sentences all the time. They expect the listener to fill the gaps. If you don't know this, conversations feel incomplete. Now let's talk about topic jumping. In English, topic jumping is normal. Someone might say, "Work was crazy today." "Oh, did you see that movie? By the way, I need coffee." 3 topics, 1 breath. This is not confusion. This is how spoken English flows. English conversations follow thought speed, not sentence structure. Thoughts are fast, grammar is slow. That's why learners panic. They try to build perfect sentences, while natives are already on the next idea. This creates pressure, and pressure kills comprehension. Now here is something very important. English conversations feel random only when you try to translate. If you translate word by word, you get lost. If you listen for intention, things become clear. Ask yourself, is this person agreeing? Are they changing topic? Are they joking? Are they being polite? Meaning lives there, not in grammar books. This is also why jokes feel confusing. English jokes often depend on timing, tone, cultural reference, not vocabulary. You can understand every word and still miss the joke. That's normal. You are not failing. You are learning how English behaves, not how English looks. Another thing that makes conversations feel random is indirect language. English speakers rarely say things directly. Instead of saying, "I don't like that," they say, "I'm not sure about that." Instead of saying, "I don't want to go," they say, "Maybe another time." This indirect style protects feelings, but to learners it sounds unclear. You think, yes or no, but English lives in the gray. This is especially true in work conversations, friendships, and dating. Now take a breath, because here is the most important part. You do not need to understand everything. Native speakers don't either. They guess, they assume, they adjust, they miss words all the time, but they don't panic. Your goal is not to control the conversation. Your goal is to surf it. Listen for direction, not perfection. English conversations are like jazz, unpredictable, emotional, flowing. Once you accept that, English becomes easier. Your brain relaxes. You stop asking, "What did that word mean?" and start asking, "What is happening here?" That is when understanding begins. And this is exactly why, with time, your English will feel natural. Not because you memorized more rules, but because you learned how English moves. And we're going to keep breaking this down, slowly, calmly, step by step. How English moves. And once you understand that, everything starts to feel lighter, because now you are not trying to control the conversation. You are learning how to flow with it. Let's talk more about flow. English conversations are not planned. People don't prepare full sentences in their heads. They react, they respond, they adjust. That's why you hear phrases like, "Yeah, I think so. I mean, kind of." This is not confusion. This is thinking out loud. In English, thinking out loud is normal. People share their thoughts while they are still forming. That's why conversations feel unfinished. That's why sentences change direction. Now let's talk about agreement and disagreement. In many languages, people say yes or no clearly. In English, agreement is often soft. People say, "Yeah, maybe, I guess so, kind of." These answers feel unclear to learners, but to native speakers, they are clear. They mean, "I don't want to be too strong." English values politeness, and politeness creates indirect language. Indirect language creates randomness. Another important reason conversations feel random is shared context. Native speakers share cultural references, TV shows, music, memes, news. So they don't explain everything. They assume you know. When you don't know the reference, you feel lost. But that doesn't mean your English is bad. It means you are missing background information. This happens even between native speakers. Everyone misses references sometimes. They just move on. And that is another important lesson. English conversations do not stop for clarity. They keep moving. And that's okay. You don't need to catch every word. You need to catch the direction. Now let's talk about interruptions. In English, interrupting is normal. People interrupt to show interest. They finish each other's sentences. They jump in with reactions. This is not rude in many situations. It shows engagement. But learners think, "Am I allowed to speak now?" And they wait too long. Then the moment passes. English conversations reward participation, even short participation. A simple, "Yeah, exactly. Oh, I see." That is enough. You don't need long answers. You need presence. Another reason conversations feel random is speed changes. People speak fast, then slow, then pause, then change topic. This is emotional rhythm, not grammatical rhythm. English follows emotions more than structure. Excitement speeds things up. Uncertainty slows things down. Once you start noticing this, you stop blaming yourself. You realize, this is not chaos. This is human. Now let's talk about mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They restart sentences. They change words. They correct themselves. You hear things like, "It was, well, actually," No, wait. That is normal speech. Learners think they must speak clean English. But clean English does not exist in conversation. Only real English exists. And real English is messy. Now here is something very important. The moment English stops feeling random is the moment you stop translating. Translation forces order. English conversation does not want order. It wants meaning. When you stop translating word by word, your brain starts recognizing patterns. You hear, anyway, and you know the topic is changing. You hear, so, and you know something is starting. You hear, right? And you know the speaker wants agreement. These are conversation signals, not vocabulary. Once you learn these signals, conversations feel clearer, even if you don't understand every word. And that is real progress. Now let me tell you something honest. You will never fully control English conversations. And that's okay. Native speakers don't either. They improvise. They misunderstand. They ask, what? Sorry? Huh? All the time. English is not about control. It's about connection. If you focus on connecting, randomness stops being scary. It becomes interesting. You start enjoying conversations, even when they are imperfect. And one day, you will notice something. English conversations still feel random, but you feel calm inside them. And calm is confidence. So remember this. English conversations feel random because they are alive. They move with people, not with rules. You don't need to fight that. You need to understand it. Be patient. Keep listening. Keep participating. You are learning real English. And real English is exactly like this. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you understand why English conversations feel the way they do. Bye! See you next time. And keep practicing your English. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with someone who is learning English, and don't forget to subscribe. Follow me for more English content, more practice, and more real-life English. Thank you for watching.